Hello everyone, welcome to CommunityForce webinar. My name is Mehreen Mirza and I'm going to facilitate this webinar and answer all of your questions during the Q&A break. Now we see that most of our attendees are joining. So while the rest of us join, let us show you how you can use this webinar to ask questions and access the handouts. Now, as you can see, there is a panel on the right-hand side of your screen with an arrow. Please use that arrow that is represented in an orange box to collapse or open this panel. Also, all of you have been put on mute in order to avoid any confusion during this presentation. You will get a chance to ask questions. And so you can type in your question during the Q&A break, and we will receive your questions and answer them by typing them in or verbally during this Q&A break. If we miss answering any of your questions, we will send you the response via email after this webinar. Now, a copy of today's web presentation is also available in the handout section. Please click on the PDF copy by clicking on the title of the handout as shown here. This handout contains the links to individual help guides, knowledge-based articles, and training videos for each of the topics that we are going to cover today. Let us see how many of you have joined. Okay. All right, since most of you have joined, let us start with a brief of our training webinar. The topic for today is getting help or assistance in CommunityForce. We have with us Christine Smith, who will be our trainer for today, and will go over all the relevant areas under this topic. The duration for this webinar is 1 hour. I will pass over the mic to Christine now. Thank you so much, everyone. All yours, Christine.
And thank you so much, Maureen, for getting us started. And so let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead. I see everyone's pretty much attending here, is getting logged in. So just to kind of talk about today's webinar, will be about an hour. We'll try to keep it within that hour. Sometimes with the questions, sometimes we tend to go a little bit over, but that's what the intent today is, to keep this within that hour time frame. And so we're going to talk about how to get better acquainted with how to get help with CommunityForce and the CommunityForce product that you have. So we're going to talk about ways that the administrators, you as the administrators, are going to be able to access knowledge-based questions and articles. We have videos, how to get to the FAQs, and also talk about a nice way of how to create an effective support ticket so that you can get better response in regards to your support when you're entering support tickets. And then we'll also talk about ways that your applicants and your reviewers that are using your site, how they can actually access help guides and videos that are specifically for their use. We have a few guides available for them. So we're going to show you where those are located and how your applicants and reviewers can access those. So of course, who's going to benefit from today's webinar? This is going to be any of those global admins and department admins. So if you're a global admin or a department admin and you're responsible for entering the support tickets and you're responsible for maintaining your CommunityForce site, you're the ones that are going to be benefiting the most from today's session. So hopefully that's who's on our call today. And so the topics we're going to be covering are, first of all, we're going to talk about getting help assistance, the different areas that we have available. So like the open help, the knowledge base, and then how to enter an effective support ticket. And then after we're done with those three topics, we'll go ahead and take a quick break. And during that break is when Maureen is going to answer any of those questions. She's answering them as we're going through the topics, of course, as you're entering them, and then she'll be reviewing those during the Q&A break for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then we'll move forward with the remaining topics. So we'll talk about that applicant reviewer, how they can get help guides and videos, and then also some nice little feature requests. How to use the best practice forum, client success, how to access them, when to access them, what's their role with CommunityForce, and then also process reviews. How can you get process reviews? What's the best way to be able to get process reviews, to go over your processes? And then we'll take another final break and do another question and answer, where if you had any questions come in, we'll address those as well at the end, and then close the session. So let's go ahead and get started with that very first topic of open help. And when we talk about open help, we're talking about the insight assistance. So within your site itself, all CommunityForce users have within their site on the admin login, once you're logged into that site, you do have access to what we call open help. So what I'm talking about here, so if I go to the site here and I'm going to log in as an administrator, and this is anyone who has an administrative account on the site. So if you're a global admin, a department admin, if you global admins have created maybe some with limited administrative access, if any page that they have access to, they will have access to the open help. And so right now I'm on the home page. So you're going to notice over here the open help. Now this isn't just the home page that you have to be on to access this open help in the upper right hand corner here. Every page has an open help. And so of course, depending on what page you are on is going to determine what data is going to be available within that open help area. So when I click the open help button, it's going to open up, since I'm on the home page, it's going to open up pretty much everything that's out there available on the home page. Now what this does then is take you, if you see all the topics, so you can look for the topics, you got user guides, you've got videos, and you have FAQs. And so if you want to see a topic and you want to look at that topic, then you would just have to come here. Like if I wanted to see a video on how to change a password, I can click that. And then when I click that, what it'll do, it's going to take you to our support portal, and it will take you to that item. And depending on if you clicked a video or if you clicked a help guide, it's going to take you to direct access to that specific guide. So of course, if you've attended our webinars in the past, you've gotten the handout, and in the handout we have those little click here's that take you directly to the area that covers the topic. That's what this open help does. It takes you directly to that area from your website to the topic that you want to research. So if I go back here, so that's on the home page. So of course, on the home page, it's going to give you all the a lot of different functionalities. But if you notice here, like if I was to select an application form, and then on that application form, let's say I went to application settings. And let me just open this menu here so it'll have more sense here. So here within application settings, I'm on this tab. I'm on the top tab here. And so if I go over here to open help, now, what it's going to do is give you everything in regards to the application settings. So any of those tabs, if I was to click on those, it's going to give me the user guides pertaining to that. So of course, application settings, that's going to have your sections and questions, your journal information. So if you wanted to know maybe how to build a specific question, you can come here, you can kind of see here's all the different question types. And of course, from those question types here, you can then click on them, and that will take you to that specific topic. If I came over here and I clicked on general information, and then of course over here you can see there's open help. You're going to see now it's giving me just the information that's regarding the general information tab. So you can kind of see how the open help functions and how it works and how to navigate around it. Okay, so that is our open help. Now so of course when you're in this, if you want to be able to close it while you're here, you can just hit close. You can see I'm actually even clicking on the links over here and it's closing it out. But then of course you can always just come over here and click the open help as well. So that's the on-site assistance. Now the next type of assistance we have, or area, is how you can get directly to our knowledge base. And so of course the knowledge base is that whole area that is for getting support access. The knowledge base is what all those links take you to what we call our knowledge base. That's where all the user guides, the videos, the FAQs, they're all housed in the knowledge base on our support site. And of course, the URL, this is an important URL to have. Whoops, I clicked and didn't go where I wanted it to go. Sorry. So this URL here is the URL. It's very important. This is your lifeline to support, this URL. So I would suggest that you copy the URL. So anytime you're in your support and I show you how to get to it from your admin, you can click on it, go to the support page, copy it, and I'll show you how to make it your favorite here in a minute. But copy this URL and put it in your favorites in your dashboard, because of course, if you don't have access through your site because your site is down, you can't get to your site, then of course, if you have that in your favorites, you're going to be able to access this link and get to your support without having to be in the site. So how do you get it from the site? So within the site itself, and you're logged in as an admin, doesn't matter where you are on the site. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll see down here in the lower right-hand corner is a help. This help is for admins, any admin that's logged in. It's not for reviewers and it's not for applicants. They have a different help. But this help here will take you directly to that URL, which is right here. So I hit that help. I'm on this URL page. And once you're here, you want to bookmark it. So see this, mine, I have Chrome. So with Chrome, to make it a favorite, I just come over here, hit the star, and then it asks me where I want to put it. And then I decide, okay, where do I want to put it? I can say what I have different folders. It depends on, the dynamic and the build of your browser, what you've got, where you want to put it. But then just mark done, and then it'll be there in your favorites going forward. And then anytime you need to access it and you don't have your site available, you can go into your favorites, have this URL quickly accessible, and then be able to get to the site. I'm going to go ahead and sign out here because I want to talk about that as we go through as well. So of course, when you first come here, you're going to see all of our FAQs. We have videos, we have applicant, reviewer, grant help. So we have a lot of history. We keep all of our history out there because in case somebody has an older version, maybe some of you are still on the 10.5 platform, or you're on, wanted to know, okay, how did we do that before in comparison? You can do that. We try to keep some of that stuff out there. But the one I want to focus on that's an important one, that's going to be the easiest way for you to access things, is going to be this grant and scholarship open help. So you want to make sure whenever you're searching guides that you're looking for the one that's in grants and scholarships open help. This is going to be the latest and greatest guides that we have out on our site. And so of course, when you do click the open help, you're going to see it's formatted very similar to how the site is formatted. So the first link in the open help, you're going to see I have home, manage application funds, global reports, administration, and review assignments. And of course, if you have the BI tool, there's some guides out there for that as well. But the way this is laid out is very similar to the layout of what you see here on your page. So again, if I go back here, you're going to see there's home, manage applications. If I come back here, home, manage applications, global reports, admins, reviewers. So it's designed to flow with the tabs that are on the site. So if you have a question about something and you go to the knowledge base, you're going to know, okay, I was in the home page, I clicked on the application. Always think about where you originated, and then it'll be easier to find the item that you're looking for. So like, of course, the home page. From the home page is where you're going to access the application. And so, of course, that's where you're going to learn how to create, clone, sort applications. And then you're going to notice it's going to go into submissions, which is going to be the Manage Applicants tab. Evaluations is going to be the Evaluation tab. Reports is going to be the Reports tab. Awards, that's going to be your Awards tab. So it's all working in relationship with what's coming from the home page. And then once you get into the home page, manage applications, that's your submittals, your evaluations, your reports, your awards, notifications, and application settings. It's all going to flow with that specific tabbing. So of course, if you wanted to know how to create and clone an application, so since that starts on the home page, that's why it falls here under this top one, under home. So that's where you're logging into. That's where you initiate creating a new application, cloning an application, sorting application form. So if I was to click on there, That's where I would then want to know, okay, how do I create an application form? You're going to start there. You're going to hit create view. And then of course, then you'll get to the training guides and the user guides that talk about how to clone, how to create a new application. That's talking about how to create fresh, and it also kind of goes into how to clone an existing application. However, when you get down, like if you're creating an application and you want to drill down into how to actually build out sections and questions, remember that's all done under application settings. So you're going to go back, and if you notice here, I'm going back using this navigation. I always find this to be a little bit more helpful. I go back to home, and so then that's where I can look here under application settings, because that's the tab. And then that's where I'm going to see, okay, how do I build sections and questions? I can click on that. And then there's where I'm going to get my videos and user guides and FAQs. And then I click on that, and then it breaks it down how to create a section, how to delete sections. And then you can just keep scrolling through. There's more and more pages where maybe you want to know how to create a question type and so forth. So that's kind of how the knowledge base is designed and laid out. It's very similar to the Open Help. If you know what tab, then you can do it. You also have the ability over here to search. So maybe I want to search on create a question. Create a question. And then I click enter. Doesn't matter where you're at. It's going to open up everything in regards to creating a question. So you may get overwhelmed. You're going to see this long list and say, oh, what do I want? Well, of course, here I typed in creating a question. Look at your navigation, and this will help you kind of know where to go. And when you look at the navigation, one, look for the word Open Help, because that's the key. That's the most latest and greatest. And then you're going to see Open Help, and then sections and questions, and then training videos. So you know, okay, this is creating a question and training videos. So if you click that, you're going to see there's training videos on how to create questions. These are the different ones that are out there. And then if you want to go back, I can go back to application settings, and then I go forward through. But that's how you can kind of search and just kind of look at that navigation and see what it is that. Let's see if we can get a drop down here. And then you can search and then find the items through that. So what I want to show you here is looking at the navigation, user guides, FAQs, and then videos and so forth. You can kind of see how there's different things out there. So that's what I wanted to point to, is this navigation and making sure you're where you want to be when you're doing that navigation. And the key, of course, is the Open Help. And then also here, you're going to notice it's going to open up some items to the left over here to help you navigate as well. So that is the knowledge base. And then also with the knowledge base, you're going to notice a submit a request. Now, submit a request is where you're going to enter support tickets. So that's what our next topic is going to be, is how to create a support ticket. And the only individuals that can enter support tickets from your organization are going to be anyone who is a global admin or a department admin. They're the only ones that are going to have access to the support portal to where you can submit a request and enter a support ticket. So they have to be a licensed user, and those individuals, global admins and department admins, have a unique login that is not the same login that you use to log in to your CommunityForce site. It's a separate login. And when you first come on board with CommunityForce, at the end of your implementation or during your implementation, they may set that up for you. And what happens is when it's created, an account is created on our support portal. Once the account is created, you get a verification email. So it's very important to make sure when you get that email, When it asks you to verify your login, you do that, because if you don't pay attention to that email, and some of you, if you're sitting out here saying, I'm a department admin, I'm a global admin, I don't have access to Zendesk, why not? It may be because you've received this email, or maybe you're not done with your implementation, so they haven't set the account up yet. But if you are done with implementation, then the account usually gets set up towards the end of that so that you can enter support tickets. And if you've received that email and verified it, you should be able to log in. However, if you got that email and ignored it, then you won't be able to log in. So what you'll need to do is, if you're still within implementation, contact your implementation specialist, and then they can get you set up. Otherwise, go ahead and send an email to clientsuccess@communityforce.com. Let them know that you are a global admin or you're a department admin. They'll confirm that as well, and that you need access to Zendesk. And of course, once you ask for that, be on the lookout for that email coming from support@communityforce.zendesk.com, and then follow the instructions in that email to verify your login, because otherwise, until you do that, you will not have access to enter support tickets in the CommunityForce support portal. So once you have access, then how do you enter a support ticket? So once you have access, and like I said, the sign-in is different from your sign-in with CommunityForce. It's going to be the same email address. So if I sign in here, it's still going to be my email address with CommunityForce. It's going to be your email address, but the password is more than likely going to be different, because you're verifying it, you're creating a password, and unless you created that as the same password for your CommunityForce site, then this password is going to be whatever you enter when you first verify. So then I'm going to sign in, and to make it easier on you, a recommendation I may have for you is, when you create your password, since it's using your CommunityForce site login email address, which is what it should be using, when you create your password, use the same password that you do on your CommunityForce site. Then you don't have any issues of, oh, what was the password? I don't remember. The only caveat with that you need to remember is, anytime you change your password on the your CommunityForce site, you will need to come here to this account and change your password here as well. It doesn't flow. There's no connection between your CommunityForce site and the support portal. So anytime you change it on the CommunityForce site, you have to come here. If you want to keep your passwords the same to make your life easier, you do need to come here and change it here on the support portal as well. So how do you do that? Well, once you're in here where I have my name, I can click on my name. I can go to my profile, and then in your profile here, you can go to edit profile. And I was under the impression you could change your password. Maybe they removed that, and I apologize for going through all this then. I guess you can't, I'll apologize. You can't change your password. So that password stays with you, whatever you originally created as, and I apologize for that. That's something that I wasn't aware of was changed. Oh, I'm sorry. Here it is. It's change password. So you hit change password, and of course, you enter your current password, your new password, confirm it, and then save. So that's where you would change that password to the new account. And I apologize for taking you off in the wrong direction. So under your name, go hit change password, and then that's where you would change it to what your new password would be. So that way you can keep that consistency so that you're not trying to remember two passwords for CommunityForce. So then how do you enter a support ticket? So once you're logged in, you're going to notice I can hit submit a request. And once I hit submit a request, a form will open. And it's very important that you fill out this form to its entirety for everything that's required. And so I'm going to go through these different fields and explain what the purpose of them is so that you understand more, how do I fill them out, what's going to expedite my ticket even better. So of course, the first thing is going to be your organization. So since I use my browser a lot, and these are some items that I've actually selected in here, it's got some things in my memory, but you might not have a drop down like this, so don't be alarmed if you don't see a drop down. But here is where you're going to list the name of your organization so that we know who you are and what organization you're with. Then the next important element is the ticket title, because that's the first thing that's going to be in the subject line. When our support team gets this ticket, that's what they're going to see. That's what's going to pop out at them the first thing. So the title is very important. So if this is just a basic thing, maybe you want a process review. You can do something like that. You want to put a very brief explanation, but something that tells us right away what your issue is. If this is something urgent, always put in the beginning the word urgent with an exclamation. Think of this is your title page, your subject line in your email. So how would you be doing that when you're doing an email? You want to flag it so that it's something stops at. So if it's urgent, maybe you want to do something like that to flag it. Now you notice every time I'm typing in a title here, it is giving me some searches. So what it's doing, it's searching the knowledge base based on what I'm typing here to help you try to resolve the issue the best you can on your own. So if you see this pop up, always kind of look down and see, okay, is this answering anything that I am looking for? Then you can look at it, click on it, and then see if that answers your question. If it does, then you can just bypass the ticket system altogether because you've answered your question. But of course, system down, that's not going to be able to be something that is a suggestion. I'm going to do that. And then the next tab, of course, is the priority. So I did put urgent in this because I want it in two places. I want it up here in my title. And then the priority is also how urgent is this? If this is just you're asking for a process review, it can be low, normal. If your system's down, of course, that's going to be an urgent. So you're going to want to mark it as urgent so that the team knows that's an urgent priority. You need this ASAP. The CommunityForce site URL, so that's the URL of your site. So if I go back here, what's the URL of your site? I'm back on my site. This is the site URL. This is what they want to know so that they can quickly access it and get to that URL as quickly as possible, especially if it's something urgent. So this is what they're wanting, is your URL. And so that's where you would take that and put that into your request so that they know what URL it is. Application form name. So more than likely, a lot of times when someone has an issue within an application, we need to know the name of that application. So if it's a review or a review issue, or it's an awarding issue or something like that, that's all tied to an application. We need to know what application you're having the issue in. So this is where you would type the name of that application form. Okay. Now, if it was something site related, like this situation here, the system's down, it's urgent, you don't have an application form name, so you can just put no application, site wide issue. Okay, so that's not affected by an application. That way we're not, if you don't put an application form in and you're saying something about I'm trying to do evaluations and I can't get this question in my evaluation form to show up, why? The next thing's going to have to happen with our support team is, okay, you've entered the ticket, but guess what? Now you've got to wait, one, for the support team to read it. Two, they're going to read it and not know what to do because they don't know where the application is. So then they're going to have to come back to you, send you an email and say, what's the application? You're going to give them the email back that says the application is this, and then they'll be able to know where to go. So that's why we have all these questions. So we don't have all this back and forth with emails that's going to delay the process. So when you're filling these out, always think about what's going to keep this from getting delayed. So that's why we ask all these questions. We want the most information up front that's possible. And then of course the product, are you a scholarship site user or a grant site user? The problem area is important because especially applicant portal, reviewer portal, recommender portal, who is it that's having the issue? Who's accessing the site? Because depending on who's accessing it, That's dependent on where the issue is going to fall, because remember, an admin, when they log into a different portal. An applicant, when they log into a different portal. A reviewer, when they log into a different portal. Recommenders, when they're filling out those request sections, they log in with a different portal. So we want to know who it is that's having the issue. So if an applicant contacts you saying they're having an issue, you need to do a support ticket for them. We need to know it's an applicant and they're coming in on the applicant portal. So that's what that's all about. And then of course, if you're an admin, you can see we don't have admin portal, because then if you're an admin, then you can go in here and you can come in and pick the appropriate items, because those are all administrative functionalities from the home page down. Okay, so that's what that is. The integration name, so if in the area of assistance here you've entered integration, then we also do need to know what is the name of the product that you're integrating. What's the name? Is it Banner? What is the integration that's happening that you're having an issue with? And then the impact on your business. Of course, we did the urgent up there. Business impact, maybe you have something you're cloning your application, you need to go live, and you're running into an issue. You're realizing, okay, I can't go live until this is done. So put in the business impact. Go live date is this Friday, something to that extent. Need this ASAP. Okay, something to that extent. Now you can see there's not a whole lot of space here, so it does have to be a brief message. And then another thing I recommend to all of our clients, because we do see this, don't wait till the last minute to clone an application and go live. Always give yourself at least a month lead out when you're cloning, building, testing, because you need to do all that before you go live with your application forms. When you're cloning and going forward from year to year, you don't want to wait till the last minute, not be able to get something. You have a go live date, you've announced it to everyone, and now something's not functioning. You always want to give yourself time. So this, of course, sometimes it happens, but I don't recommend that you try to build something, clone something, and then try to go live before you fully tested it. Give yourself plenty of time and adequate time to do that. Now, the next important field is the request summary. So this is where we need you to be as specific as possible. This is where you're going to tell us, one, what is the problem in detail? You're going to tell us how the problem occurred, and then also what have you done to resolve it? So you run into a problem, more than likely your first step is, before you enter a support ticket, try to resolve it on your own. And so what did you do to try to resolve it? What did you come up with? And of course, you see this box, it's kind of small. You might find the editor a little, sometimes, trying to work in it, it doesn't give you what you need. So one thing you can do, and which is what we really recommend if you have a real long summary that you need to give us, is create a Word document, and outside of the system, create a Word document, do screenshots, type in step-by-step details of how you got somewhere, do a screenshot, and put all of that in a Word document. And then you can take here, you can just put see attached document, or you can even do see attached images. You can go, and then down here you can see attachments. You can add multiple attachments. You can add them here, and you can add that Word document. If you just get image screenshots, maybe you put an explanation up here, but you have some images, you can add those to the specific attachments here. That's what that's for down there, is to enter those attachments. And then we can get the details that way. But this is very important, because this is how we know what to do, how to help you, and what have you done. And then of course the callback name, what's your name, what's a good number to reach you at, and then how to reproduce. We do put this as optional, but this is nice, especially if you were doing something and you got an error message. What were you doing when you got that error message? So I did XYZ, I was changing a name on my application form, and as soon as I hit the submit button, I got this error message. Okay, So then when you do something like that, always make sure you get a snapshot of that error message, or at least the error code if you can, so that we know what that error message was. So when I see, and then again, you can do the same, create a Word document step by step of how to reproduce it, screenshot of what you got. So as soon as they see that, a lot of times our team is going to know immediately, okay, I know what the issue is. So because they see a picture, they can see the visual. And then of course the operating system. So when we talk about operating system, I'm on my desktop right now. It is a Windows desktop. So anytime I go into my site here, even though I'm on a different browser, we'll get to that in a minute, I am accessing this using a Windows device. If you are on maybe your iPad or your Apple phone, if you have an Apple device, you're on an iPad or mobile phone, is that how you're accessing the site? Same with Androids. How are you accessing it? The same with applicants and reviewers when they're having issues. Always get that information from them before entering the support ticket so that we know what operating system, how are they accessing the site, with what operating system are they doing that. And then the same thing with the browser. What browser are they using? So more than likely, if it's an Apple, they're coming in on Safari. They could be using Chrome, Internet Explorer. These are all the different browser platforms. We need to know what platform, not only the operating system they're coming from, but also the browser that they're using to access our site, so that we know how to adjust the issue. And because each operating system functions differently, and so when we build out our platform, we have to build it so that it functions on all these different platforms as well as the browsers. Since you're coming in on browsers, we have to make sure that it's functioning on all the different browsers. I'm sure I've used other programs out there that, I'll try to get it to work on Chrome. It doesn't work. I go and then I do it on another browser, and then all of a sudden it'll function. That's just what happens with programs, because these browser providers are constantly changing their systems. They're adding security features. And so of course, then that causes us then to have to make sure our system works with those security features as well. So there's always going to be delays from when they update a security feature to when we can get it functioning if it affects something on our site. And then of course, once you're done entering the ticket, hit submit. And then once you submit, what's going to happen is it's going to send an email to our support team. And it's also going to send an email to you with the ticket number. And then once you get that email, you can always communicate through your email. You don't have to keep coming here to the site to see what's happening. You can actually communicate and follow the string of what's happening through that email string. But you also can come here. Under here, you're going to see a My Activities. And when you click on the My Activities, you're going to see your support history. And the My Activities is nice, especially if you've entered a support ticket on a how-to. And you're like, okay, I remember we asked that question, or maybe you're a new admin and you want to see what's our support history. You can come here. If you're CC'd on, you can see all of your organization requests. If there's more than one person, you can see your organization request. So you can come here, see maybe a how-to, and then you can click on that ticket and see how it was responded. You can click on the current ticket you're working with. I guess look for it in that listing. And so then once you get there and you click on the ticket, you're going to be able to see the history like I see here. And then you're going to be able to see the status, when it was created. Was it solved? Yes or no. Once it's been solved, it's going to show it here. And then just kind of what you've entered in regards to the data for that specific ticket. And then once it's been solved, maybe you're in a ticket and it's been solved and you have the issue again and it hasn't been that long ago, you can actually come down here if it's been closed for comments, and you can create a follow-up. You can click create follow-up, and then it's going to, when you click that create follow-up, it's going to want to know why do you want to create a follow-up? What is this in regards to? And have you fill out some of the additional things in regards to the ticket. You can update it. And then of course, then you can submit that, and then that will send a follow-up to the team to know, okay, this has been opened again. And it'll tie it to that same ticket number. So that's how you enter support tickets. So I'm going to stop there real quick and see if any questions have come in before we move on. And Maureen, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Christine. Yes, we do have a few questions. One of the questions says, can I directly have my reviewers or panel or board members reach out to Zendesk or CommunityForce? No, unfortunately, as Christine has mentioned, only licensed users of our software have access to Zendesk, that is support. So you as an admin will have to be the liaison between your end users, that is applicants, reviewers, or any other role type that you've given these users in the system, and whatever the problem they are facing, open a ticket on behalf of them, and like I said, be the liaison between CommunityForce and the end user. So that way we'll be able to help you. Another question is the help guides that we're talking about on Zendesk. Do you have downloadable PDFs on Zendesk? Unfortunately, no. Those documents, those help guides are not downloadable because Zendesk is not an in-house software. It is a separate software altogether. We are just licensed users of Zendesk, so there's nothing downloadable as such. So, I mean, you'll have to use the links. Those are easier, like Christine mentioned. Bookmark those links if you want to. So those are going to be really helpful to you. Another question is, is there, I mean, is this the only way to find out of the updates on Zendesk, on your Zendesk ticket? Okay, what this user or our attendee refers to is, will I have to log into Zendesk to get an update on my ticket that I opened? Well, no. Every time there is an update on the ticket, that is our client support specialists respond to you on the ticket, you will receive an email on your registered email address. And that way you can come back in, have a look at it, and then respond to us. So it's not the only way. You will receive a copy of the email with the response that our client support team has given to you on the Zendesk ticket. Do I directly get logged into Zendesk when I click on help? No, like Christine has mentioned, the help option is there, but Zendesk and CommunityForce, your software and CommunityForce, Zendesk, they're not integrated. So when you click on the help, it is not going to directly log you in. However, like Christine has mentioned, and the passwords can be completely different or same, but these two are separate platforms. The only thing that we're giving you is the link to click and go to Zendesk. So it's easier for you to access, and you can have the same password as Christine has mentioned. So it's easier for you to remember the password that you've given on the CommunityForce platform, and the same would be used on a Zendesk. When, just a second, when new releases, or when new version release is sent out, where can we find the release notes? So on Zendesk, Christine, if we go back, probably, yeah. Yeah, on here as well, and then CommunityForce, yeah. No, just CommunityForce, Christine. Yeah. So what we do is we add, and if you want to look for release notes, Christine, just search for release notes at the top here on the search option. What we do is we add the release notes of every new version that we're coming up with. We add it to, so we have the release notes and we have the version 11.0. We also have the 10.5. The reason we haven't taken 10.5 release notes from Zendesk is also because you can see the differences. What we came out previously on the 10.5 version, and now what you have available on the version 11.0. So this is a good comparative comparison that you can do quickly. You can, although we send out release notes through emails. So whenever your site is getting upgraded, we've done that in the past. We send out emails with the links to the release notes and how these new functionalities or new features will work on your site. But apart from that, Zendesk is always here. You can find the release notes on Zendesk as well. Okay, this is a very important question. It says that the name of my organ, there is no place for me to enter with the name of my organization when I'm trying to open a ticket. Well, the reason is when we create your accounts on Zendesk. So as soon as you come on board, or if you happen to add a new licensed user, like a department admin or a global admin, to your site, that is your grants site or a scholarship site, um, uh, we create your user account under your organization name. So what happens is there is no need for you to add the organization name. Your name automatically gets associated with your organization name. So that's why we are not giving this field. You open a ticket, and what we see from the back end, from the tickets perspective, our client support team sees is first your organization name, your name, and the subject of your ticket. So that should give you some, relief. Christine, you had something to add there? I saw you moving the cursor.
No, I'm fine. I'm just getting ready for the next topic.
All right. So I'll let you take over from here, Christine. I think I'm done. I've answered the rest of the questions on the Q&A box. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much as well, Maureen, for answering all those questions. So let's go ahead now and move on to the next topic. And this is going to be additional help in regards to how to for your admins and your applicants and reviewers. So of course, Maureen answered the question in regards to your applicants and reviewers. They don't have the ability to enter support tickets, but what we do have for them is the ability to get help in regards to how to do certain functions. So for applicants and reviewers, let me show you how they can access that. And on the site, so if I am logged off, I'm going to log off here, log out. And of course, this is contingent on in the administration tab under site settings. In site settings, there is a setting for the that says applicant help URL. And if you haven't changed that to your page, like maybe you have your own help guides, then of course that if it was your help guides that you've changed that URL to, then it's going to go to your page. But if not, if you haven't changed that URL, then what we have down here is for anyone who hasn't logged in. So this is pre-login. Here at the bottom of this page, I can see it because I haven't logged in, but I always like to show you from the login page. So I'm going to go to the login page here. And on the login page in the lower right-hand corner down here is a help. And depending on in your administration site settings, what you've set as the applicant help URL, we default it to our site. But of course, like I'm saying, if you've changed that to your site, then of course it's not going to go there. It's going to go to your site. But here, if this help here is defaulted to go to our CommunityForce site, which is where we just were a minute ago. Of course, I'm logged in, but of course, if I'm logged out, I'm still going to be able to access this. And so here you can see an applicant help and a reviewer help. These are both help buttons that allow them to receive help on how to do certain functions. So if, of course, if I go to the applicant help button here, they're going to be able to determine, is this a scholarship or a grant? If they're a scholarship user, they would click scholarships. And then here they can have videos, they can have user guides. And then you can see here, this is user guides pertaining to an applicant using the site in regards to how do they complete their form or how do they apply as a proxy. If you have a payment, how do they make that payment? So you can kind of see these are all based on questions that would be something an applicant would want to know. The same with if I go back here to the reviewer, and if it's a scholarship or grant they're reviewing, they can click scholarship, they can go to user guides, and then you can see here getting the scorecard. Maybe they want to know how do they get that PDF, or how do they log in? How do they submit their scores? If they're using your push scores, how do they use the push scores to get those questions answered for the other reviews that they're involved in? So just different questions that they may have in regards to things that reviewers would be wanting answers to when they're completing the form. So that again is from the login page in this bottom right hand corner, that help button there. So that takes the applicants to some nice little help guides that they can access to get some assistance before they contact you. Now, a couple other features I want to touch on real quick here is some features that we have on our site. We would like to direct you to those so that you know they're there. We would like our clients to use those as much as possible because they're very helpful. The first one I want to talk about is the feature request. This is where you can post ideas, maybe specific features that you might be interested in. And what's nice is when you post them out here, so if I go to the feature request, let me go back to our thing here and sign in. You do have to be signed in to use the feature requests. Go to CommunityForce. And down here, let's be better if I just go all the way to community here. And you're going to see once you click that community, you're going to see the feature request. And what this is, we would like for our clients to use this as is maybe there's a functionality that you're trying to do or something you need to do with your processes and you're not seeing one that we have it available. So the feature request is nice because that lets you put a request out there. You then, anyone that comes to this feature request, so always go out to it and look at it and see what others are requesting. And then you can vote on it, of course, and you can also enter comments. And you can follow it so you can kind of see who else is making comments. So maybe you have a helpful feature that you'd like to see us do. The more you do it, the more that comment, the more that vote on it, then that's going to be something that then the CommunityForce team can look at and say, hey, this is something they've been requesting. We see a lot of our clients are needing this. This might be something we would be beneficial for us to add to the system. So that's what the feature request is that's where that comes in beneficial. So the more votes that they get, the more that we're going to pay attention to it because we're going to see that it is something that is needed by a majority, multiple clients. And then maybe roll that into our functionality and determine how to help you with it. And even if it's a feature, maybe there's already something there, then our team can see and say, oh, you know what, we do already have that. So here's how it works. And we can reach out to them. So that's what feature request is. The other item we have is a best practice forum. And the best practice forum is, of course, CommunityForce doesn't sell just to one type of client. We have multiple different types of clients. We have universities, we have United Ways, we have community foundations, we have foundations, we have all different types of users. So what's nice with the best practice forum is how you as individuals can share maybe a nice little special hint you can share with others on the platform. Say, hey, all you community foundation users, guess what? I'm using it this way, and this way. This is our best practice. This may be something that can benefit you. So to access the best practice form, it's going to be the same way. I'm just going to click on the community here. And you're going to see here best practice forum. And this is something that a whole lot of you have been using, but we would like you to get directed to this so that, like logical model, asking, something that you're doing that's beneficial to you with the CommunityForce product, how you've used the product to be able to help you with a specific functionality that community foundations, I know all community foundations have this. This is how I do it. United Ways, I use it this way. I'm going to share that with other United Ways to help them as well. This is where you can help your community that use CommunityForce. And then, of course, also maybe you have a question. So if you're somebody that's coming in here often, you can see a question that maybe another community foundation user is using it. They're asking a question. You can come in and comment and help answer their question. Say, you know what? Here's how I do it. This is, I do this, and this. This may help you know how to use the product as well. It's kind of like that nice camaraderie amongst all of our clients so that they can help each other also. And then also, I want to talk to you about a feature that is beneficial for you to use to get assistance and help. And that is regarding our client success. So client success is not to be confused with our client support. So client success team is ones who are there to take care of our customers' needs. They're going to reach out to you when you regarding health checks. They're going to reach out to you when maybe you have a new administrator, you don't have access to support, you can reach out to client success. But of course, if you have a support issue, we always ask that you go to the support portal, enter that support ticket. The only time you should reach out to client success is, of course, if you can't get into the support, or maybe you're having, maybe you're not getting your question answered and you need to talk to someone, then you can enter a quick message to client success to say, hey, I'm needing some better assistance here. But not to use them for support, but more of making you more successful. That's what the purpose of the client success team is. So of course, if you do have a new admin, one thing we do like for you to do is let the client success team know. So if you have new admins that are getting added to the site, let them know, because we also have available for any new admins, we do what's called a new admin walkthrough. And so our client success team can get you set up with that for your new admins so that they can have that walkthrough, and that your new employee, your new admin can successfully use CommunityForce. You're not just throwing them out there saying, here's the program we use, have fun. You can actually reach out to client success and we can do that new admin walkthrough and help you with that. Client success is also helpful, those health checks. We reach out to you on an occasion and we do what's called health checks. And those are important because that's where we hear from you in regards to maybe issues you're having, um, things that are going good for you. We want to know, so don't ignore those health checks. If you don't let us know, we can't help you. And that's what we want to do. We want to help you, we want to be there for you, and we need to know in order to be able to help you. So when anytime you see those messages from client success that they want to reach out to you, they want to talk to you, they want to know how things are going, please take advantage of that, because we do want to help you the best way that we can. That's what we're here for. And then another nice help that you can have is process reviews. Oops, I'm going. So process reviews are for, especially after you've had one of our trainings and you see something that maybe you wanted some more details on. Contact the support ticket in our support ticket, or reach out to our client success team and say, hey, I need to have a 1-hour process review with someone to kind of go over my processes. Maybe your process has changed and you need to know, okay, how can I use CommunityForce to implement this process into my process? So then you can say, I need a process review. And I recommend doing a support ticket, because when you do a request through support, you can say, I need a process review. And then in the subject line, you can put that. But then in the request line, you can put what it is you're adding and what you need help with. Or maybe there's a new, and maybe our new features. You see a new feature, you've watched the new feature maybe webinar, but you still want to know, how's this going to work for me? How can I incorporate this into my processes? Ask for process review. We'll get a process review specialist to meet with you for that hour. We usually make them an hour, and they can go over it, talk to you about your process, and then determine, okay, is this a functionality that's going to benefit you? And so that's, again, when you're asking for that process review, make sure you give us details as to what your process is, what's the functionality you're interested in, and why you're interested in it. That way, before we even get on the call with you, that process review specialist can have a good picture, what you're looking for, how to resolve it, and then when they get to that hour meeting, they're not doing a lot of back and forth to try to figure out your process. So that's the process review. That's very important to use as well, to help you with any new processes, any new features. Maybe you've been with us for a long time. We've added all these new features. You're not using them. And now you're thinking, you know what? Maybe this is something I can use. Reach out and ask for a process review. Those are very important. So that brings us to the end of our session. So of course, these are all the with 11.0, if you're not on them, you're interested in what some of those new features are, there they are. And if you think it's something you might want to incorporate, maybe there's a function you see, you want to maybe have some more details in regards to your processes, how to use them, then of course you can reach out and do a process review. And so that brings us to the end of our session. And so we want to thank everyone for attending today. And again, like I just talked about with the process review, enter a support ticket, and someone in our team, our process review specialist, or if you have a client support specialist, will be glad to answer any of the questions you have. And then of course, if it's something that you need a process review, they will get a hold of a process review specialist to find out how they can assist you. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there and see if there's any final questions. And Maureen, see if you have any questions, and then we can close it.
Sure. Thank you so much, Christine. So there is a question that says, my ticket was closed. How do I reopen? Okay. So this is very simple. Thank you so much, Leticia. Thank you. You're most welcome again. So here's the thing. Christine, can we go back to Zendesk? So there are two ways of doing this. When you open a ticket, what happens is we are not asked, support specialists are not going to close the ticket on our own. We will ask for a confirmation from you. If we do not receive a confirmation from you for a certain time period, like a week or so, then we will go ahead and give you a final statement that the issue has been resolved and we are closing this ticket. Now, in such a case, if the ticket has been closed, you can we go to these are your tickets, Christine? Can we go to the tickets, Christine? Yeah, your activities, right? So there are two ways. If you can click on your ticket, this one is solved, right? Can we scroll down? There should be an option to create a follow-up towards the right. Yeah, so there is a create a follow-up, right? So what happens is, in this case, you are allowed to, the ticket topic is going to be the same, and you can create a follow-up. So what happens in such a case is, this client support team will always have a reference that they can go back to, and they will help you with the relevant issue. Or there should be, if these tickets seem to be, thank you so much, Christine, for it. And then if we scroll down, I think you should be able to open a follow-up of the ticket, create a follow-up. That's it. And enter all the details, and you should be able to create a follow-up. Another way is, currently I'm seeing probably Christine's tickets have been solved for a pretty long time. Otherwise, you should always have the option of reopening the ticket back again, if it is within a certain time period. So let's go back, Christine. Let's see. I'm seeing your tickets are pretty old. Sorry. But if your ticket had been closed about 2 or 3 days back, you should be able to open that ticket once again, reopen the ticket and mention that I wasn't done with my responses. I'm still facing the issue once again. And then you should be able to reopen the ticket once again. Yeah, these are pretty old, 2 years. So these tickets you will not be able to open. Okay. Thank you so much, Christine. You're trying to say something. I'm not able to.
No, I'm not starting to say anything. I'm
Okay,
good.
all right. Okay. Another question is, I do not have access to Zendesk. How do I open tickets on Zendesk myself? Well, here's the thing. Look up your role type. Talk to your global administrator. Maybe you're not the global admin. Maybe you do not have the access even as a department admin. Talk to your global admin. Maybe he or she will get in touch with one of us. Like Christine has mentioned, additional help is always available with client success. Reach out to us on client success. They will reach out to us on client success, and maybe we'll give you additional licensing that can be worked out with your admin, and then you should have access to Zendesk. So like I said, only licensed users of an organization or a client will have access to Zendesk. So I think that's pretty much it, Christine. I think I've answered most of the questions. We can stop here. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Christine.
And thank you too, Maureen. And thank you everyone for attending, and enjoy your rest of your week. Thank you so much. And goodbye.